government takes more measures to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal. Acting Inspector General of Police visits troubled area in the Plateau, assures of guaranteed security. Plus, federal government and state governments of the Federation to share the highest revenue allocation this year. These and more on Panorama today, reaching live from Abuja. I am Elizabeth Omori. President Bola Tinubu has approved the establishment of Infrastructure Support Fund for the 36 states of the Federation as part of measures to cushion the effects of petrol subsidy removal on the people. The approval was disclosed at the monthly meeting of the Federation Account Allocation Committee in Abuja. The new Infrastructure Fund is expected to enable the states intervene and invest in critical areas of transportation, including farm-to-market road improvements, agriculture, encompassing livestock and ranching solutions, health, with a focus on basic health care, education, especially basic education, power and water resources that will improve economic competitiveness, create jobs and deliver economic prosperity to Nigerians. The committee also resolved to save a portion of the monthly distributable proceeds to minimize the impact of the increased revenues occasioned by the subsidy removal and exchange unification on money supply, as well as inflation and the exchange rate. Out of the June 2023 distributable revenue of 1.9 trillion naira, only 907 billion naira will be distributed among the three tiers of government, while 790 billion will be saved and the rest will be used for statutory deductions. These savings will complement the efforts of the Infrastructure Support Fund and other existing and planned fiscal measures, all aimed at ensuring that the subsidy removal translates into tangible improvements in the lives of Nigerians. In a statement by Presidential Advisor on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, the committee commends President Tinubu for the bold decision to remove petrol subsidy and, even more importantly, for improving necessary and providing necessary support to the states to cushion the effects of subsidy removal on Nigerians. And the National Economic Council has taken steps to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal and floating of the naira. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports on these and other deliberations at the meeting.
The National Economic Council has received the report of the ad hoc committee constituted at its inaugural meeting to report on aggressive measures to be taken to address the effect of the fuel subsidy removal by the federal government. Vice President Kashim Shettima presided over the council meeting. The National Economic Council directs the National Emergency Management Agency and the Central Bank of Nigeria to release food items.
We have some buffer stock that is already there with NEMA, and the council has directed the states will be allocated immediately substantial portion of food items, grains and so on and so forth for distribution, so that the prices of foodstuff will come down and it will be given at a subsidized rate or at the rate at which it is acquired from NEMA, because it is free. Of course, CBN also, because of their Anchor Borrower program and the program they had in agriculture, they have a large stock of rice and other grains that they are going to make available within 1 week.
Some other measures taken include the implementation of cash award policy, ensuring the payment of outstanding liabilities, and funding of micro, small and medium enterprises with single-digit interest rate.
The Council also agreed that all the three tiers of government must do certain things, must begin to be, responsive to the mood of the nation, to the sufferings of the people, and try to do something to ameliorate the impacts. Obviously, each acting in accordance with its own fiscal space, in accordance with its own capacity to do so.
Reducing costs of governance and implementation of energy transition plan are also part of the recommendations.
And in doing this, some principles were agreed to balance between investment and consumption, that if we have any fiscal surplus that is generated, that we must balance, have an appropriate balance between what part of it to consume in the immediate versus what proportion of it to invest for medium to longer term structural changes that we need to impact.
But in the meantime, we must transit to that. That is why we are all going to be embarking on that transition from petrol to CNG. We in Ogun State have already started that. And you begin to see other states in the Federation do the same. We are also starting our own, what we call e-mobility. All our Okadas and tricycles are also going to be running on electricity, and everybody's going to follow suit. So, yes, there's going to be some pain, but like they say, there's no gain without.
The council also proposed the introduction and implementation of conditional cash transfer program by states and the FCT to reduce poverty, especially at the grassroots.
That will be based on their social register of the states, because it is states, that are better positioned to do that enumeration, so they can ensure the integrity of the social register.
If the federal government decides to do the same cash transfer, for example, we're recommending that they should do so using the framework of the states and local government that are nearer to the people.
From the State House, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
In the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC has shared the sum of 907.054 billion naira June 2023 Federation account revenue to the federal government, states and local government councils. This was contained in a communique issued on the end of the Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting. The meeting was chaired by the Accountant General of the Federation, Dr. Oluwatoyin Madeni. The total distributable revenue comprises distributable statutory revenue of 301.501 billion naira, distributable value added tax revenue of 273.225 billion naira, electronic money transfer levy revenue 11.436 billion naira, and exchange difference revenue of 320.892 billion naira. Balance in the excess crude account $473,754.57. The communique stated that gross domestic product revenue of 1.153 trillion was received for the month of June 2023, higher than the sum of 701.787 billion naira received in the previous month by 451.134 billion naira. According to the communique signed by Bawa Mokwa, Director, Press and Public Relations, Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, company's income tax recorded tremendous increase in the month under review. Import and excess duties, value-added tax, oil and gas royalties increased significantly, while petroleum profit tax and electronic money transfer levy decreased considerably. To other matters, Progressive Governors Forum has reactivated plans towards maintaining the leadership strength of the party under the leadership of the acting national chairman Abubakar Kyari. Chairman of the forum and Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma says the governors have accepted the voluntary exit of the former national chairman Abdullahi Adamu and former national secretary Iyola Umishori. Sali Wanara reports.
In their usual style and in the late hours, APC governors converged on the Imo State Governors Lodge for a closed-door meeting that lasted about 4 hours. At the end, the governors came out with a scorecard of the immediate past national chairman and national secretary of APC, who voluntarily resigned.
We commended the wisdom in what they have done, and they served us well in the party. We're happy with their services, and the party is united. There's no crisis in the party. They are happy. We also are happy. So we are in support of their actions, and we will continue to commend and respect and recognize the services they have rendered to our great party.
They also deliberated on how to utilize resources to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal and promote economic growth.
We are aware that the result of the removal of petroleum subsidy will increase the volume of money that will be received by us, during the Federation Account meeting. And we are working with federal government to ensure that the proceeds of that FAC will be utilized in a manner that the citizens of the country are happy, the labor happy, we also are the practitioners happy, and also the economy of the country will be protected, our economic managers supported to ensure that our solvency margin is not tampered with in the international market. Instead, it will be improved upon.
The progressive governors are confident that the party is united and solicited the support of members at all levels. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
You're watching Panorama, reaching live from Abuja. Let's take a breather. More reports. You're still watching Panorama on NTA. Senate has passed a resolution urging the federal government to review the procurement criteria of the National Mass Metering Program by prioritizing local manufacturing and assembling. The lawmakers, in response to a motion from Senator Victor Ume, expressed concern that using a World Bank facility for the project gives an edge to foreign companies as it shuts out local companies. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
In the first phase of the National Mass Metering Program, the Transmission Company of Nigeria and the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission awarded local companies contracts to produce 4 million meters funded by the Central Bank of Nigeria. 8 months into the project, as explained by the sponsor of the motion, the CBN withdrew funding to the project. The subject of this motion is to unravel issues surrounding a new loan facility made available by the World Bank worth $155,000. The TCN conducted bidding for the tender for the supply and installation of 1.2 million smart meters.
The ongoing World Bank funded NMMP, that's National Mass Metering Program Phase 2, seeks to promote foreign companies' participation against competent and pre-qualified local meter manufacturers will ultimately result in the loss of jobs and revenue.
We can have a review of the World Bank criteria so as not to also lose the opportunity of assessing such loans.
They have their own invested interest in the money they are giving out by providing policies that we cannot meet.
We have for a very long time have manufacturers of meter in Nigeria. There was one in Zaria which I know very well. Today they are not functioning.
The lawmakers suggested the sourcing of funds from organizations that are favorable to local companies to help generate employment.
We should pass up on the World Bank loan, look for loans somewhere else, but we must start growing our own manufacturers, or else we will never develop as a nation.
Urge the Transmission Company of Nigeria and other stakeholders to negotiate and engage the African Export-Import Bank, AFREXIM, and the African Development Bank, AFDB, for alternative loan if World Bank loan conditions do not favor local economic growth at this critical time of massive unemployment and devaluation of our currency.
In another development, Senate, after a closed-door meeting, sets up an ad hoc committee to look into matters of internal and general security of the Nigerian Senate. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution directing the National Electricity Regulatory Commission to suspend any proposed electricity tariff hike by distribution companies pending an interface with its committee on power on the issue. The House notes that the proposed increase is uncalled for, given the inability of operators to meet the contractual thresholds of supplying 5,000 megawatts of power annually. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ekmen reports.
For the lawmakers, the proposed electricity tariff hike by the distribution companies is not in the best interest of Nigerians.
It is most inappropriate and insensitive to come up with a price increase of such magnitude at this time when Nigerians are yet to come to terms with the increase in petroleum prices.
I'm sure that the discos or the gencos, in their wisdom, don't want to also increase tariff.
Is as a result of the emerging economic realities where we have decided by law to privatize some of these sectors. If they want to increase the tariff to Nigerians, let them improve their facility.
The bill to amend the Electricity Act 2023 scaled second reading and the motion seeking provision of a transmission substation in Kogi East was adopted.
As strategic as this zone is to the state and the country, the zone cannot boast of steady and regular power supply.
An ad hoc committee was mandated to investigate the reported use of adulterated aviation fuel by affected airline operators.
Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very urgent national issue, in fact a crisis. When I saw the water pouring out of the tanks of that aircraft, I was scared.
And it's endangering the life of Nigerians to investigate the increasing incidences of aviation fuel contamination, associated air travel risks.
I agree that aviation fuel is supplied by a third party, but the airline too has a responsibility.
That the airlines that have suffered this adulterated fuel be suspended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The nays have it.
The House also condemned alleged favoritism and delay in capturing some federal government employees in the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System, IPPIS.
There are hundreds, if not thousands, of staff who were genuinely employed that haven't even been captured.
Lawmakers were worried over alleged non-disclosure of balance sheets of some accounts domiciled in the central bank.
The Central Bank of Nigeria to disclose without further delay and following the required format all the interest and principal sums on the investments in the excess crude oil PPT royalty accounts.
First reading. 20 bills passed first reading at Thursday's plenary, including the Central Bank of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2023. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikpe, NTA News.
And Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, urges African parliaments to work towards providing legislations that will grow investments in agriculture and guarantee food security on the continent. He stated this while addressing the third plenary session of the 10th Commonwealth Speakers and Presiding Officers Conference holding in Cameroon. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, the Speaker acknowledged that the burden of food insecurity in the world is heaviest on Africa. He, however, notes that parliaments on the continent could address some of the issues causing food crisis, such as climate change and poor infrastructure. In other news, Acting Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun has visited Mangu local government area in Plateau with a call on citizens not to give the crisis in the area any religious or tribal coloration, describing the attacks as acts of criminality. This was during his visit to the state. Caleb Kuchin reports.
The visit of the Inspector General of Police to Plateau State was his first to any command, coinciding with his 1 month in office. He says he's deeply concerned about happenings in the state, given that the people have been coexisting peacefully irrespective of their leanings.
I want to assure you, Your Royal Highness, that we, the police, are going to work with you, with the traditional rulers. We will work with the government and people of Plateau State. We will work with all stakeholders to ensure that peace returns to Plateau State.
Mishkaha Mwagavul Da John Putman Hirse commended to the IGP for making the visit to the state a priority, and that going by his track records, he is confident that peace is in sight not only in Mangu but the entire state, and the country at large. Key stakeholders in Mangu local government area expressed their concerns at the level of destruction and pain the people are going through and urged the police helmsman to do his best to address the situation. The IGP left the people with a commitment to do more, but called on them to desist from taking the law into their hands. The IGP also interacted with traditional rulers, community and religious leaders in the state. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
The Police Service Commission has approved the appointments of AIG Matthew Akinyosola and AIG Sylvester Abiodun Alabi as DIGs representing the Southwest Geopolitical Zone in the first management team. A statement by the Commission indicates that AIG Matthew Akinyosola has since proceeded on retirement, paving the way for AIG Abiodun Sylvester as the current DIG representing the Southwest. The Commission also approved the promotion of Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi to the next rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police, confirmed 9,016 unconfirmed Assistant Superintendents of Police, promoting 14,052 Inspectors of Assistant to Assistant Superintendents of Police, unconfirmed, including Inspector Habila Bulus to ASP 2 for his commitment to duty. Similarly, the police inspector who was assaulted by Sean Kuti was also promoted to the next rank of ASP 1 for exhibiting high level of professionalism. Nigeria's Super Falcons played goalless draw against their Canadian counterparts in Women's World Cup match. For these and more, let's join Olumide Eguntola on Sports Update with Olumide ends Panorama today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Good afternoon.